While Puss in Boots has appeared in an animated series on Netflix as well as an interactive special, it's remarkably been 11 years since we last saw the swashbuckling feline on the big screen. Now, after years in development, his sequel has arrived, titled Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This movie is directed by Joe Crawford, who was previously responsible for another DreamWorks Animation sequel, The Croods: A New Age. So it appears he has become the go-to director to bring back characters audiences had not seen in theaters in a while. Even though the first Puss in Boots spin-off movie was a prequel, The Last Wish is actually set after his adventures with Shrek and Donkey. So what did I think of Puss's latest outing? I enjoyed it. The central theme of this movie is, surprisingly enough, about Puss facing his own mortality. We see this cat, who has long been overly confident, finally dealing with the fact that he's down to his last life, and we see the effect this has on him. The filmmakers successfully balance that dramatic plot thread well with the comedic elements, and Antonio Banderas continues to shine as Puss. The comedic highlight of The Last Wish for me came from a little dog who tags along with him. He gets the funniest lines in the movie, but there's also a sweetness underneath the character's motivation as he seeks to become a therapy dog. The most touching moments come from their interactions and how he helps Puss with his growing anxiety. The animators did a great job of depicting this dog's cute expressions, and Harvey Guillen provided a great vocal performance. He's also hilarious on the television series What We Do in the Shadows, by the way. The movie throws in 3 major villains who battle with Puss in Boots, Kitty Softpaws, and their new canine friend. Of them, a wolf is the most memorable as he plants fears in Puss's head in his pursuit of our favorite sword-wielding cat. There's also Goldilocks and the 3 bears, and we're given a surprising amount of backstory that works in developing them beyond being basic antagonists. Although I did wonder if these were meant to be the same 3 bears we saw in Shrek, but slightly older now. And that begs the question of who Farquaad's bear rug is actually supposed to be. Am I seriously asking about the continuity in the Shrek universe? Yes I am. Then there's Jack Horner, who was okay. The most enjoyable parts with his character involve a cricket who tries to be his conscience. The cricket sounds like Jimmy Stewart, which only made his lines that much funnier. Horner's where a lot of the fairy tale Easter eggs also come from, as he carries a bag full of magical objects from different stories. The animation is given a different look in The Last Wish than in previous movies set in the world of Shrek. Over the past number of years, DreamWorks has started to embrace more stylized animation in their films. When the studio started making computer-animated films like Ants and Shrek, they went more for photorealism in the designs and animation. Well, photorealistic as movies with comical talking ants and donkeys can be. However, as the studio evolved, they began embracing more cartoony designs. Earlier this year, there was The Bad Guys, which took inspiration from European comics and Japanese animation. According to the filmmakers on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, they sought to make the movie look like a classic storybook. There's definitely a painterly quality to the animation here, which actually made me think of what Glenn Keane originally intended Tangled to look like. There are even parts where you see the frame rates of certain characters drop a bit, but it fits with the overall visual design they're going for. Joe Crawford also does a really good job of directing the action sequences, which do have a snappiness to them. Additionally, the film absolutely earns its PG rating. Interestingly, while the previous Puss in Boots movie made very few nods to the other films in the Shrek franchise, The Last Wish connects to them a lot more. Illumination Entertainment founder Chris Meledandri served as an executive producer on this film, his first credit on a DreamWorks Animation production. He is said to be involved in a possible Shrek sequel, and if this is a stepping stone towards that, it certainly makes me excited for what happens in the future. On its own, though, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is an entertaining adventure with enough funny sight gags and a good exploration of Puss in Boots as he copes with having the last of his 9 lives. The film is also an example of the impressive creativity of the artists at DreamWorks Animation in creating these imaginative worlds and finding new ways to reinvigorate some of their franchises.